Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man who used to be able to touch his toes. Now he just takes a sip of beer and waves at them. It's Dale.
Well, they wave back. So. How sweet it is.
Yeah, wave back, little piggies.
That's right.
What's going on, dude?
Oh, same old, man. Had a great day. How's you going?
I am doing great, bud.
Sweet. About to do the best thing of the week.
That's it. We love this stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just like all you guys.
We love our listeners.
We love yous.
You got anything you want to mention or shout outs or anything you want to talk about before we get going, dude?
How about a good old YouTube comment?
YouTube.
That work for you?
That works for me, dude.
Man, we got almost 100,000 views on there.
Hey.
How about that?
Yeah.
Getting
and
close.
I got to get caught up on it, too.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, anyway, we had a little message come in, or a comment from Nancy Fahey. I hope that's how you say it. Fahey. Close enough. Anyway, she basically said that this is the perfect crime podcast. How about that?
Wow, perfect.
Yeah, I'm yawning like crazy. I was like, whoa, I'm yawning like crazy. Now, not that you're boring. You're calm and soothing, where I can just drop off to sleep. I'll spread the word. Thanks, you guys.
I'm glad we can put somebody to sleep.
Yeah, we can breathe heavy on you or put you to sleep, whatever. We got a little bit of something for everybody.
Moan in your ear if we have to.
If that's what you want.
That's right. And if anybody wants to go to Apple Podcast and leave a rate and review, we will give you a shout out.
That's right.
But you got to write something in the box on the review.
Yeah, it won't tell us who did it if you don't.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you write, just write something.
And if you want to go to the store page, get you some kind of merch.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yep. Get you something. Get you something nice, shirt,
something good,
coffee mug, something cool,
T-shirt.
Yeah,
we try to post on Facebook when that stuff's on sale.
Yeah, we're trying to help you guys out, man.
Yeah, we do. We try to help out.
We cut our own profit for you.
We do, so people can wear our shirts.
That's right.
Yep.
Some cool merch, man.
Yep. Or if you want to drop $1 in the gas tank on the website.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, or just tell everybody about us.
Yeah, we're trying to get our Patreon cranked up. It is up and running, but we got one thing on there, but we're working on that. And we'll get a little more on there if you want to jump over there and do that.
Yep. All right, dude. Without anything else, we're going to get going.
Right. If you don't want to do nothing else, you can just hit the share button. We'll appreciate you. Just the same.
Yep, exactly. All right, dude. We've got an interview this week.
We do?
Yeah, and before we get going on it, we're just going to give a little bit of backstory on who we're talking about.
Yes.
But this case is about a missing girl from Opp, Alabama, OPP, Alabama.
OPP?
Yep.
Are you down with OPP?
I'm down with the OPP.
All right, then.
Opp, Alabama.
Opp, Alabama.
Her name is Kemberly Lorin Ramer.
Right. Well, really cool spelling.
Yeah. Kemberly.
Right.
Yeah. Very cool name.
Yeah, Lauren's cool spelling too.
Lorin.
Right.
Yeah.
How about that?
But now, Kim was born on May the 18th, 1980. And she went missing on August the 15th of 1997 when she was 17 years old, Dale.
Right.
Yep.
It was right before her senior year.
Yes. And just a little bit of background on her. The night she disappeared, this was August 15th of 97, she had visited her boyfriend and some other friends, and she had left her boyfriend's house around 11:45 p.m. of that night.
Right.
And she had to meet a curfew to be home.
Right. Well, she started out today at her mom's, was in Florida, which is it's just right across the line, so it's not like
about 30 miles away.
Yeah, because she had to go do her senior photos that day, and then she had a softball game with the softball league that night.
Yeah, it's like a city softball league.
Yeah, like a rec league or something.
Yeah.
And then not a school game. And then went home for the shower, saw her dad, talked to him, told her she was going to her friend's house. And he's like, well, he was going to his girlfriend's house. He said, just be home at 11:30 after curfew, and everything was good to go.
Yep. But she wasn't going to a friend's house. She was going to a secret boyfriend's house.
Correct.
That she hadn't told her parents about.
She had been dating about 2 weeks,
yes,
as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
But he was an older guy, actually had been married and had a small child, and that's why he was secret boyfriend, not because he's like
because her mom and dad would not approve of this at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't go over well.
But she went missing on August 15th, and her dad came home from playing golf the next morning on a Saturday morning and got his golf clubs, left her a note, and went out to play golf.
Yeah, well, he pulled up, car's in the driveway, everything looks kosher in the house, nothing, door's not kicked in, nothing weird, not like that or anything. So he comes in, goes, grabs his golf clubs, leave her a note, see you later, bye, and he's rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then came home later, still no sign of Kim.
Right. She still wasn't there, car's still in the driveway, so he's like, That's when he started to question a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he tried to call her mom.
Yeah, down in Florida.
But they were going fishing.
Yes.
Right.
and he started calling friends trying to find out where she was. And then Kim's mom finally the next morning called him back.
Well, called him back about 1:30 when I got back from fishing, but got no answer. And then he called her back that next morning. I believe that's how it worked.
Yeah.
And then from them, her older daughter, who was about 17 months older than Kemberly, Kristen, and her boyfriend Jeremy Anderson all rode up to the house.
Yes.
Up to Kenny's house, which is, like you said, 30 miles away.
Yeah. And Kim hasn't been seen since.
Right.
Yes. And no clue of what happened to her or anything like that.
Yeah, and it was kind of odd because her car was there, her contacts were there, her glasses were there, her keys,
her shoes,
her pocketbook,
money.
Every pair of shoes that they could account for that she had was there, unless it was like a mystery pair or something. I mean, everything was there but her.
Yeah.
And the room was messed up a little bit. Not too bad as far as that goes. Some pictures off the wall, some stuff, a pillow crammed behind the headboard, which is kind of odd. And other than that, there was nothing left at a crime scene. That's it.
But yeah, we were interviewing Kim's mother, Sue Infinger.
Yep.
And she is going to fill in on the holes on this story.
Right.
But we're just giving everybody a little bit of...
Since we hadn't done a full edition on this, cover this, we thought we would give you a quick timeline of what happened so you're not totally lost.
A little rundown of everything.
And then we'll have her on, and she's going to really let us know what happened.
Yep. All right, we want to welcome Kemberly Ramer's mother to the show, Sue Infinger. Welcome to the show, Sue.
How you doing there?
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for doing it. I appreciate it. I think the more coverage she gets, maybe it'll help more.
We agree.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit of background on Kim. What was she like growing up? What was some of the things that she liked to do growing up?
Well, she was always in sports, played softball. She was a cheerleader, did well in school. She was never a problem child. She was a good child.
Yeah.
You know, she never got in trouble or anything.
So she was a big softball player and a sports player. She was also a cheerleader too, right?
So very active, yeah.
Yes.
Very active girl.
Yes, and we had planned for her to go to University of South Alabama when she finished high school. She wanted to be a physical therapist.
Okay.
And she always did well in school. She was smart.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about the August the 15th of 1997. Tell us about that day. That was the day she went missing.
Right. It was like, okay, the 15th was on a Friday, going into the 16th. And she had gone up to her dad's in Opp because she had been with me. Well, they were always back and forth, you know. And but she had come up here and she was with me. And then she went back up to Opp because she had to get her school pictures, her senior portraits made. She got those made that day. And that Friday, she played in a ball game, softball game. It was with a women's league. And she played in that, and she went home, and then Kenny was there at the same time. And at the time, we didn't know about her boyfriend. She had been seeing for a couple of weeks. And they got dressed and everything, and she went her way, and he went his way. And she went to her boyfriend's house and stayed till about 11:30 because she had a curfew to come home. She came home because her car was there. Everything was there. Her contacts, you know, it wasn't like she ran away because I knew she didn't run away.
Right.
You know, she had it made. And
now her dad, Kenny, wasn't home that night. He was at his girlfriend's, right?
That's right. He was, and then he came back in that next morning and to get his golf clubs because he was going to go play golf. And so he left her a note. He thought she was gone.
Right.
Because she had plans to go with one of her friends to do something. I'm not sure if it was to sell magazines or something like that. And so he didn't think nothing about it, and just wrote her a note, and then came back in later on. She still wasn't home. I think he wrote her another note. I didn't even know about it then that she wasn't there. Well, he didn't even realize she was missing.
Right.
Well, I guess that Saturday, later on, I'm not for sure, because Bill and I, that's my husband now, we had gone to the bay fishing.
Mm-hmm.
We left out on a Saturday, like around lunch or something like that, and we stayed down there till like 1:30 in the morning. Then the next morning, Kenny called me wanting to know if Kemberly was here. And I said, well, no, she's not here with me. She's supposed to be with you. And he said, well, I can't find her. And I said, what do you mean you can't find her? So right then I got my stuff and went to Opp, and we got up there and we reported it. Well, first of all, we started calling all of her friends, and some of her friends were already there in the house, because word had got out that trying to find Kim. We went to the police and reported it, and didn't know what to think,
Yeah.
At first, I was just sort of scared because I never thought that, I didn't know what to think.
So
I didn't know if maybe she had gone with some friends, maybe to somewhere, and just wasn't back. But then, when we were talking to all of her friends, nobody knew where she was at. And then we started getting information about her boyfriend. And we even went to his house, and nobody was there. And came back and told the police, and they came over and started getting all the information, People were just in and out of that house, like crazy. The Opp Police was there, but they didn't rope it off or anything. And so the crime scene was contaminated.
Right.
With so many people coming in and out.
Yeah, for sure.
And went up there, and what I noticed when I went up there was, there was in her bedroom, on the wall inside her bedroom, and then on the other side of the wall was the hallway, and there were pictures that had fallen, and I still didn't know what to think about that. I had no idea, what was going on. And just one thing led to another. The Opp Police was there, and then the Alabama, the ABI came in, and they did a lot of things. And then after that, the FBI came in.
So how much time did we talk?
And they started doing their research and investigations and everything. And, everybody had to take lie detectors test. All of us did. Of course, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
If you're innocent, why would you not do that?
All right, Sue, let me ask you a couple questions. Let's back up just a little bit.
Okay.
Now, you were living across the state line in Florida at the time, right?
Yes.
Okay, how far were you living away from Opp, Alabama?
About 30 miles, because I worked up there every day.
Oh, so you went into Opp every day then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That makes perfectly sense.
So
I'm an RN, retired, and I worked with home health for many, many years.
Okay.
So how long had you and Kenny been split by this time?
Let's see. We had been divorced about 4 years.
Okay.
So when you got to the house, there were people coming in and out left and right, her friends?
Yes. And then the longer it got, the more people coming in and out. And if I had known everything, I would have tried to made that crime scene better or something. But that really wasn't my job.
Well, you didn't know it was a crime scene at the time, you know. You're
Right.
just freaking out. So
Right,
I
exactly.
want to ask you a question about those photos. You said the pictures, were they down in the hallway as well as in the bedroom, or just the bedroom?
They had fallen.
Yeah,
yes,
right. So was
on
it
the inside of her bedroom, and then on the hallway and the floor. And I also noticed there was a pillow behind the headboard of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was sort of strange.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the strangest thing I've heard about this case, Sue.
I'm telling you, it just beats all I ever seen. I know who did it. Am I being recorded right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a little bit. We'll let you vent on that in just a little bit. Let's.
Okay.
Why was she known to put a pillow behind the headboard, or?
No, not that I ever knew of.
Okay. That's just so weird to me.
Yeah.
Why it would be.
It is to me, too. There was another thing that I noticed, too, when I went up there, is, you know, we always use the door under the carport going in, and it goes into the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that door was where, if you're standing on the outside, I could see a light, you know, from, like, the doorknob up. I could see a little light coming through. And somebody else noticed it. One of her friends noticed that, too.
So like it had been pried
But
open or something.
there wasn't, that's the only thing that I really noticed that was sort of odd. And, you know, because from the kitchen windows and through the door, you could see sunlight coming. And it never did do that before.
Right.
It's like somebody had maybe pressed on that door or something.
Sort of put it out of
But-
square.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yes, but it was not it was a hollow door. It wasn't a solid door.
Okay. So it could be really, I guess, adjusted or moved or kind of warped in a little bit if it needed to be.
Yeah, it looked like to me that somebody had pushed it that way or something
Could have been.
to make it look that way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now back to her room. Exactly what did? Because I've read play and I've heard stuff. You know, some people have said it's just torn all to pieces, and some people say it's just like the sheets and stuff on the floor and the pictures in the floor. So exactly how bad was the room disturbed?
It wasn't that bad,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but I could tell it something was not right.
Right.
So all of her contact lenses were there, her glasses.
Her shoes.
Yes, everything
Yeah.
that she needed.
It did.
Well, Kenny said that she had cut off blue jeans and a T-shirt on when she left.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
So she didn't take any shoes with her. All of the shoes that she owned were still there, right?
As far as I know,
Yeah.
you know, her and her friends, they traded in and out, you know, with stuff. But she did not leave that house.
On her own.
What's the word I'm trying to say? Somebody took her out of that house.
On her own free will, yeah. Somebody just took her instead of her just leaving. That's what it sounds like to me.
Did it look like she?
And I have my own idea
Mhm.
about what happened.
Okay. Did it look like her bed had been slept in? That she'd actually went to bed at any point, or?
I believe that the sheets, the things were pulled back. It wasn't made up.
Okay.
And I believe the FBI got all that.
So they took the sheets and everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now, on another question, you know, Kenny said that, you know, he left and went to his girlfriend's and stayed overnight. Was this something he did a lot, or like did he have like a Friday night thing where he stayed gone?
I don't think it was nothing planned,
Okay.
you know. Just sort of happened.
Okay.
I don't think he did anything on a regular basis.
Okay, that's
You know,
yeah,
like-
that's what I was wondering, because I was wondering like if he had like some kind of schedule where somebody could say, well, we know he's not going to be here on Friday because he does so and so. So
See, that's what's so strange about it, too, because who would know if he was going to be there or not?
right, only
Except looking to see that his truck's not there.
correct.
Exactly.
Unless somebody knew if he had a certain schedule, and that's exactly why I was asking, because you know some people had stayed there, and then they might knew his routine. But if it was just a spur of the moment, then that doesn't even apply. So
It's just so strange because it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
And, I'm just hoping and praying something.
Yeah.
I need closure.
I don't doubt it.
My whole family does. Her friends does. It's just a lot
How long
to
after
handle.
How long after her disappearance was it before you found out she was missing? I know you got a phone call in the middle of the night from Kenny. When did you actually hear about her missing, and then you headed up to...
Oh, it was that Sunday morning.
Okay. So it was almost a day and a half before you even knew.
Before anybody knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Kenny, he really didn't know.
Yeah.
I remember something. I had a phone call. He had called up here and left a message, and then I called back and couldn't get anybody, and I thought, oh, well, they must be sleeping.
Right.
But then he called me that Sunday morning, and then started in about, where is Kemberly with you? And I said, well, no, she's supposed to be with you. Because we've never had anything like that to happen before.
Yeah. Or anything in Opp to happen like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how long after the Opp police show up do they get the ABI to come in? A couple days? Or is that pretty quick?
I can't remember. It wasn't long, though.
And then did anybody go in and try to process the crime scene, even though it had been pretty much trampled?
The police, I remember them doing something on the door, like for fingerprints, but that's all basically they did. And then the ABI, they did things. I'm not really sure what they did.
Right.
But when the FBI came in there, they did all that luminol and all that stuff in there, and they took all kinds of stuff. They took everything. Oh, they took everything from that house. They came up to my mother's house. They did her house. They came here, did here.
How long was it before the FBI got involved? Was it a couple days, a week?
It was a while.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I remember we were up there, and Kristen, which is my daughter, and Jerry Anderson, which is a suspect.
She was dating him at the time.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, let me tell you the story about that. See, Kristen and Jerry were up at my mother's that Friday night. And he left Kristen there and went to a party in Leonia, which is, 15 miles or 20 miles from here, in that area.
Is that 15 or 20 miles toward Opp, or just a different way?
No, in Florida.
Okay.
Didn't go to
Well, I just wondered,
not a party in Opp. It was a party down here.
Yeah, correct. I was just wondering
which
direction Leone is from where you live in reference to.
And he was seen at the party, but he had no alibi for the hours after that.
Right. I think he was good till about 2:00.
Because I remember talking to him one time, and I was telling him, I said, Jerry, because I didn't know that, it was coming to me, the FBI was saying, he's a suspect, and they got him in jail for something, I can't remember. But I said, where were you that night? And he said that he had gone to Lake Castee twice that night, and nobody was there. And I said something about, did you do something to Kim? Do you know about Kim? You did it. And he said, you proved it.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
He told me that. And, because the FBI was telling me, and little by little, after they was talking to everybody, and giving everybody lie detectors test, and
So everybody took a lie detector test, right?
everybody did except him.
What about the boyfriend, the secret boyfriend of Kim?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about
He
him.
was ruled out after time.
Yeah.
He took a lie detector. Everybody took one,
Yeah.
except Jerry Anderson.
Now her friends were over at the house saying that it was her boyfriend that had done something with her. Is that what?
Oh, yeah, they were saying that. Oh, Mike must have her. He must have her and not let her go. And, you know, that's when we went over there. And, of course, he wasn't there. But the FBI ruled him out.
Yeah.
So do you think Jerry didn't take one because his dad probably told him not to take one, or just because?
I remember him calling his dad when, see, he didn't want to go up there for some reason, Jerry Anderson. And finally, he did. He came up there. And I remember, because he came up there, him and Kristen came up and spent the night. We spent the night. And I was walking in Kimberly's bedroom, and he was behind me, and I said, "Be sure you don't touch anything." You know, because he was just looking around and looking around.
Right.
And then I remember him calling his father on the phone, saying, "Oh, they need more help up here," because his father was an investigator for Walton County Sheriff's Department.
That's in Florida, Walton County, Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's the county that I live in,
Okay.
Walton County. But I also remember when I was riding up there, and I was in the front seat with Jerry Anderson, and he was saying, I'm fixing to leave town. I said, "What? Leave town?" I said, "They'll think you had something to do with Kimberly's disappearance." And he looked at me, and I'll never forget that look in his eyes. I knew it from right then. I said, "Oh, my God."
So now he was dating your older daughter, Kristen, at the time.
Yes.
How was their relationship? Did they have a...
Well, she thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But that night, well, she was young, naive.
Yeah.
He was older than her. And that night of that party, that Friday night, he left her at my mother's and went off.
Yeah, that's
She
kind of
didn't even
weird.
know where he went.
Mm-hmm.
And he left her. And then he didn't come back until that next morning.
And he took her car when he left, right?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Now,
I know.
now we know that Kristen and Jeremy stayed with Kenny for a while. Did anything ever happen, you think, between Jeremy and Kimberly while they were staying there, or was Kimberly there at the same time?
Not that I know of.
Because we had heard that, you know, a lot of people had said that Kimberly thought he was a creep and kind of gave her the willies, and she didn't think too much of him.
No. Except, I didn't really like his attitude. At first, you know, he was okay. But the more and more, you know, we're always so busy doing everything, working. But I was noticing, you know, he couldn't hold down a job.
Right.
And just more and more. And we had an argument here in the house because I thought he might be on drugs because he was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made him leave.
Oh, wow.
And so that's when they went to my mother's house.
What did Kenny think of Jerry?
As far as I know, I guess he liked him.
Well, you know, like you said, if he didn't spend a lot of time there, then he probably can put on a pretty good show there for a while. You know, just to come in for. But so you never know what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I never would have thought something like that would have happened. You know.
Right.
With him. Well, until after Kimberly went missing, I went to the courthouse and I wanted to find out about his record.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, he had so many things against him, but his father always got him out of trouble.
Covering his tracks.
So Jerry refused to take a polygraph test.
He did.
Did he say why?
He did not.
He just wouldn't take it.
He would not, and he wouldn't cooperate with the law.
He wouldn't talk to him at all.
And that's when he turned himself in to Walton County.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He was out on parole, wasn't he?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he had a warrant against him or something. And he wanted his daddy to pick
I
him up
think
so
that
he'd
he
be in
did have a
Florida.
warrant.
Yeah, I had heard
You know, anytime he had a warrant, it was like nothing because he never had, his father always got him out of trouble.
Right. So now back to where we were. Where does the deal with this truck come in? It just kind of popped up in the middle of my research, and I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Yes.
Okay, during that party over there in Leonia, Florida, which is, like I said, 15 miles from here or so, Jerry and this other person took this truck from this man that Jerry had worked for before. Took the truck, went to that party. He was seen on the truck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when you took it, you mean they just stole it, or did he go by and borrow it from a guy?
They stole it.
Okay. Sorry,
but I don't think any charges were ever brought against him.
Right.
Anyway, he took the truck and went to the party. He said he had gone to Ponce de Leon several times that night. I don't know. But anyway, that next morning, Jerry went to this house of friends he knew over there in that area and got the son of one of his friends to follow him on that truck, and he left the truck at a church.
Mm-hmm.
And then went and got Kristen's car and came over here.
So he came back to meet you guys before you went fishing?
Mm-hmm. Because Kristen had to babysit that morning for my brother.
Okay.
So basically from 2 o'clock in the morning till he saw you, nobody knows where he's at. That's
exactly right. He has no alibi.
Driving a truck.
He tried to get an alibi.
Right.
I know that. And at first, I think he was going to get an alibi, but then the FBI came hard down on a lot of people, so he didn't get an alibi. In fact, Kristen had told me that her and Jerry had gone to this guy's house for an alibi, and the guy wouldn't do it. Wouldn't give him an alibi.
Wow.
So he has no alibi.
Okay, so I want to go back to the night that Kim went missing. There were some phone calls placed from the home.
From
Kenny's home.
There were phone calls. There were 3 phone calls.
Tell us about them phone calls.
Those phone calls were made in the area around where he was at that party. The phone calls did not belong to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But the FBI found out that somebody, and I feel like it was somebody in a panic, trying to get help. And they just couldn't recall the numbers.
Yeah.
You know, because it was like, we didn't have cell phones and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was just landline.
Yeah.
And so those 3 phone calls did not go to anyone, but it went to the area.
Yeah.
So basically the area code and the prefix was in that area. He just didn't have the last 4.
Yeah, he was calling numbers over there in that Leonia area because he has a lot of friends over there.
Right. Wow. Say someone.
Somebody was calling from Kenny's house over to that area and didn't get anybody. They just got dead numbers. that didn't go anywhere.
Exactly. It seemed like to me that somebody was in a panic, trying to think of who to get help, and the numbers just wouldn't come to them, or they couldn't remember them, or something.
Yeah.
And that was what, like 5:30 in the
And I
morning?
feel like they were at that party, so they were probably pretty drugged up.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I think.
Let's go back to Jerry ditching that truck at the church parking lot.
Okay.
Who found the truck? It was a 1991 Dodge Dually. It was like orange or orange, red and white.
Red and white it looked like, or something.
Right.
It looked like
they
Dually.
found it there. I can't remember. I can't remember who exactly found it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like Holmes County Police. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. But it was a work
I know
truck,
it was
wasn't it?
found, though.
Wasn't it a work truck?
It was.
Mm-hmm. At what point somebody cleaned that truck up? At one point, when and how did that happen?
I don't know. The man got the truck back, and then he had it detailed for some reason. But the FBI got what was supposed to have been in there, or what little bit there was left,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing was ever found.
Yeah. So, me and you talked the other day on the phone. We were setting this podcast episode up. You had mentioned to me that you thought that maybe 2 people were involved in Kemberly's disappearance, and not,
I think so.
Not just one.
Right. I feel that way, and I don't know. I don't know if because supposedly there was a woman that saw that truck,
Right.
and she saw 2 people in it. They were parked at the across the street. It was the highway from it was 331, the highway from Opp to Florella, about middle ways. There's a rest area there, and across the street there's a bridge, and you can go down a little bit. And she saw 2 people in that truck, in a truck that looked like that.
Yeah. So the law enforcement came in, FBI came in, and they did some searches and stuff, and they found some evidence around. There was some a place called Baptism Hole. Is that right? They found some stuff.
Not only with the FBI, but there was a team that came in from Texas that we got a hold of, and they came over here because I searched every weekend, trying to find her.
I can't imagine.
And they came over and helped with many, many searches too.
Mm-hmm.
But the FBI, they were good about the searches. And anything that was called in around, I can't say anything about the law enforcement because they've really helped.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Okay, all the focus on Jerry and him dating your older daughter at the time. How did this affect their relationship? What ended up happening with them?
Well, at first, Kristen could not believe that he had anything to do with it. And the more that the FBI talked to me, I was telling her, he had something to do with Kimberly's disappearance. And she just couldn't believe it until later on when she finally realized, oh, my God, he must have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
So he really was conning her pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me, yeah. He sounds like he's a user. And he was a good bit older, right? Like 10 years older than her?
Yes.
Right.
He was a manipulator.
Exactly.
From what I see now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I see it, too.
So when Kim's case started going cold, police wasn't coming back with any more information. What happened to Jerry during all this time? I guess Kristen had broken up with him.
He went to prison.
Okay.
For about 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote to him in prison.
Did he write back?
In fact, I just wrote to him the other day. Because, this is weird, it's been, I don't know how long it's been months, I think. But he followed Kristen to work.
Wow.
He followed her. and just wanted to know how she's doing.
That's not weird
And
at all.
I told her if he ever does that again, call the law.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a creep all the way around.
He is.
So you wrote to him just
And-
recently. Where is he at now? What is he doing right now?
Oh, my God. He is married. His wife works up there at my granddaughter's high school
Wow.
as a data person.
Wow.
And they're all involved in church.
So he's like,
I don't
he's
know.
sort of, in a roundabout way, kind of kin to you in a way through marriage. Is that right?
No, not really. Okay, here's what I think you're talking about. Okay, my brother was married to Leanne, which she had a child by his brother.
Okay.
Right.
So there's some
And
connection
so
there.
Jerry would come over to, that's how Kristen met him, at my brother's house, because Jerry would come over to get the little girl, which was Greg's daughter, and take her to see him.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that is.
Gotcha.
Wow. With all this close connection and his wife working at the school, gosh, I mean, do you ever see him or pass him on the road or anything? Or
Oh, I had. It's been several years ago, but I went over here to the little store at Darlington, and Bill and I were in the truck. We were getting out, and I saw him. I knew who he was. Start with Bill didn't recognize him, and I got out and I started yelling at him.
wow.
Bill had to hold me back because, you know, I had no control over myself at that time.
Yeah.
And I was yelling at him and screaming at him, and I told him I knew that he did something with Kemberly, and all he did was hold his head down. He didn't say anything.
Wow.
I can't imagine.
He just needs to give it up.
He was the only suspect, right?
Yes,
But they just
he
couldn't.
is a suspect. In my eyes, I just believe he did it. I know he did it.
Yeah. How often do the authorities contact you about Kimberly's case? Do you
Well, they did have, and I guess he still is, Dennis Haley. He is a retired Florida FDLE, I believe that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And he, Covington County hired him to investigate. And so he's been doing it for a while now.
Okay. Do you hear from them much?
Not too much now.
Yeah. What happened to the secret boyfriend of Kimberly? What was his story? What happened to him? Do you know?
He said that she came over there that night, and she stayed until it was time for her to go home, and she left.
Yeah.
And he had an alibi.
Yeah.
He had somebody there that knows where he was at and everything.
Yeah, they'd only been together like 2 weeks or so, right?
He was ruled out.
Yeah. So where is he at today? Do you have any idea or what happened to him?
I have no idea. I guess he's still in Opp. I just really don't know.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Kimberly's story, Sue?
You know, I just want the truth to come out. It's been long enough.
It's been 25
I mean,
years.
25 years
Exactly.
is too long. I don't know what to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be so frustrating. I can't
I
imagine.
can't imagine what you've been through, Sue.
I'm telling you. I don't know. Well, I know that his father, you know, the FBI searched his father's land about 2 times.
Really?
But he also refused to take a lie detector's test.
Wow.
And him being a detective, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Wow.
He let him search. Of course, I guess he had to if it was FBI.
Yeah.
But he refused to take a lie detector's test. Oh, I'll tell you a little incident about his father. I don't know. There was this lady that got in touch with me from Florella, which is a little town about 9 miles away. She was having dreams or visions or something, and she wanted to go down here and check down the road here because she thought Kemberly might be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they called the law, and who shows up but Grady Anderson,
What?
the father. And, you know, she was telling him that she was searching for Kim, and she thought she might be there. And he told her not to tell anybody.
What?
Glenda told me that. Glenda has passed away since.
Wow.
Wow.
That is just weird.
Yeah, there's some damn fishy shit going on here.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
So you have a Facebook page dedicated to Kim, is that right? How can people find that? How can people find that?
Help find Kemberly Ramer.
Okay.
April McDaniel is the administrator of that.
Okay. Who else can people call if they know anything, have a tip? Can they call the Walton County Sheriff's Office or the Opp Police? Who can they get a hold of?
Yeah, they can call either Walton County Sheriff's Office or the Opp Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of those.
Or Crime Stoppers or anything like that. They can get a hold of somebody, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to do something to help Kim and listen to her story. It just broke me up because
I know, man.
It blows.
I know.
It blows my mind.
I mean, where is my daughter? I mean, he's done something with her. I believe that she's over there in that area somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that, either on his father's land, because his father had a lot of land. There's also other places. We've done searches after searches and after searches, but, you know, it's hard to find a dead body.
I'm sure. Just that one place.
If it's buried. You know what I'm saying? Even though we had cadaver dogs and all that.
Mm-hmm. You just got to find that one place.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Sue, we will sure keep you in our thoughts and prayers. Give Kristen our best and tell her we missed her.
Truly appreciate y'all doing it.
We appreciate you.
You know, and I had thought about it, and I was thinking, oh, you know, I've done these before. But then again, I got to thinking, no, the more I talk about her, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I appreciate it, too. Thank y'all so much.
All right. You have a good night, Sue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 All right, Dale, we want to appreciate Sue again for being on the show, man. I really hate it for her and her family.
Me too, man.
No answers after 25 years.
I got 2 daughters. I can't imagine.
I can't imagine losing a daughter or a child at all.
Yeah.
I don't see how people do it. I don't see how they go from day to day.
And, you know, and not knowing, and then, I mean, not really knowing, but yet what you think, and then have to see them.
Yeah.
You know, God, how hard did that be?
But if anybody has any information, they can contact the Opp Police Department at 334-493-4511, or they can contact the Federal Bureau of Investigation at 202-324-3000.
Right.
And at the time of Kemberly's disappearance, Dale, she was possibly wearing a white T-shirt with brightly colored design on the front with the words New Orleans. And underneath is a gray cutoff sweatpants, a gold bracelet, gold necklace, and a gold chain ankle bracelet. But she is described on her Charlie Project website page as being a Caucasian female, brown hair, brown eyes. She wore clear braces on her teeth at the time of her disappearance. And she had thick eyebrows, and her ears are pierced. And her nickname is Kim, K-E-M, and her shoe size was 6.5. Yeah, but that is the story of Kemberly Ramer, man. All right, dude. We are going to get out of here, bud.
Okay, buddy, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe. Please be careful and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.